Everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm going to start out with this deck, The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, and I shuffle my deck, so I'm going to choose the card on top. Okay, so the back of it says Living Life, and the card says, you should be experiencing the life that's happening to you, not the one you wish was happening. Don't waste a moment of life trying to make other things happen. Appreciate the moments you are given. Oh, I love this. You know what it reminds me of? Enjoy the journey. So a lot of times, right, we are focused on what we don't like, what doesn't feel good, and what isn't working for us, and the things that hurt us. And we forget to be present in the moment. And what happens is that we get too caught up either in the past or in the future, and we find ourselves feeling really imbalanced. But when we're focused in the present moment, something else happens, right? We're not allowing ourselves to go too far left or too far right. We are creating more balance for ourselves by being present and enjoying the journey, which means that we can take what's happening, notice it, and not give it a whole story or meaning, to it. In other words, yes, something is happening, right? Whatever the situation may be is occurring. But when we start to attach a story to it, we start walking into the realm of distortion. Now, what I mean by that is that whatever we experience in our lives and the way we see life is going to affect how we attach a story to something. So if we have a history with feeling rejected, if someone in the present day situation doesn't say hello, let's say, we may then perceive that as an expression of rejection. So when I'm talking about the story, right, it's that how we see the world and how we think is going to affect how we are going to experience the present day thing that we're going through. So if we are able to remove that habit or way of doing things, then we are not in that same space. In other words, we're not in the space that we were before, right? When we experience that. In other words, we're living the present moment. We are detaching from all stories. We're just allowing it to be what it is. In other words, I don't have to give it meaning. We don't have to give it meaning, right? If someone doesn't say hello, then they didn't say hello. We don't know what's going on with them, right? I mean, yes, we can perceive it as rejection if that's our thing, but doesn't have to be a form of rejection. Maybe they, got some really bad news that morning. Maybe they were distracted with something else, or another concern, another worry, or something else. Who knows, right? We can come up with many different possibilities of what's happening. But in the end, the reason isn't really the focus, it's how we feel and our need to be present. In other words, if we're present and we notice that, wow, I feel uncomfortable that they didn't say hello, right? If we use that example, then we can sit with that as opposed to focusing on how they rejected us, how they're always doing this, or how people in general do this, or how this keeps on happening, and how people don't like us, and so forth, because now we're going into a whole different space, and we're going to feel really overwhelmed by our feelings, and we're going to feel yucky inside, angry inside, and all kinds of emotions are going to surface because we're attaching a story to an experience and not just allowing that moment to be for what it is, which is what it was, whatever it is, and who knows why it was, right? We can only postulate. We don't really know. And even if we are on track, it doesn't really give us much information either, because ultimately it's not really how they see us that really is impacting us, but rather how we see ourselves that's affecting us the most. Because if we believe it, then it's true. And if we don't, then it's not. In other words, someone may think something about us and we may know that. But if we don't agree, then we kind of chuck it off like, okay, whatever, right? But if we know they think something of us and we believe that to be true, then we're hurt by it. Then it becomes a thing. And then we start to spin because of it. So we want to be present and allow what is to just be, and to detach from the story and not create more of the situation than what it is. Take it face value. Work on the trigger within and what's being activated within ourselves, as opposed to focusing on the external act and staying there and going over and over and over again about this person and the situation or whatever it is that is going on. I mean, that's just an example, but I think you get what I'm saying. So before I go any further, I am going to pick a word from my bag of words and see what else I'm inspired to share in relation to this. All right, so what word did I get? I got overwhelmed. Oh, I love that. Okay, not that I like feeling overwhelmed, but overwhelmed is what we're going to feel when we attach stories. Whenever we are perceiving the reason why somebody's doing something and we get stuck there, as opposed to taking care of what's happening within us and acknowledging, our uncomfortability and allowing that to exist as well, we are going to feel so overwhelmed. And when we forget, right, that we don't walk alone, when we forget that, we are partnered with spirit, that we are, it is our essence, and that we don't have to necessarily focus on the tangible stuff and the physical realm as much as we think that we do. In other words, we can remember that there's more to this universe than this thing that happened. There's more to us, there's more to this universe, there's more to the synchronicity of life, and we want to be more expansive and open, right, to understanding that, but also allowing that into our conscious mind, so that we're not swept away, right, with feeling overwhelmed because of all these thoughts, and not allowing ourselves to create balance with a broader perspective, meaning including a spiritual perspective on life. Because when we're fully present, right, we're allowing things to be, but we're also not as panicked about or overwhelmed with whatever is happening, because we're reminding ourselves that it's okay. Things happen and they don't have to be personal. They're just happening. And we can take care of the emotion that's there. We can allow it to exist without giving all of our power to it and forgetting, right, that we are more than just this situation that has occurred, and that we don't walk alone, right? We want to remember that we are not walking alone, and we have divine support and divine love that surrounds us at all time, and we can find our balance and comfort in that direction, as opposed to focusing on why somebody is doing what they're doing and attaching our story or personalized story to it, because we don't want to feel overwhelmed and allow that feeling to consume us, because that's really it, right? We're having a human experience, so we're going to feel all kinds of emotions, and that's okay. The goal is not to allow ourselves to get swept away by it, or to stay in that space for an extensively long period of time, right? In other words, if we get caught in that space, we want to recognize that and pivot, and we want to shift, right? We want to come back to a more balanced state, and we want to release anything that is overwhelming us and consuming us and putting us in a state where we're giving away our joy and depleting ourselves in any way. All right, so I'm going to end with that. I hope that this video helps you in some way. If it did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you could be notified when I upload further videos. And if you want to find out more about the work that I'm doing, please check out my website. The description is down below. All right, thank you and have a beautiful day. Bye for now.